Hello and welcome. You're watching Ask PQ on Bloomberg Quint. I am Shraddha Babla.
Hi Shraddha, and I'm Alex Matthew. Well, if you've got questions on equity, as always, this is the perfect show for you, and you can send those queries in to us on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, and WhatsApp. You can also call us on 022-454-04141, or you can mail us at askpq@bloombergquint.com. Just make sure to add the Ask PQ hashtag.
All right, before we get into individual queries, there's a quick look at how the Indian markets are faring at this point in time. All the three benchmark indices have paired gains, so the Nifty continues to hover around the 10,800 mark. Sensex is trading with gains of a little over 100 points. Bank Nifty just about in the green zone, but it's auto stocks which are outshining today. Hero Moto, Bajaj Auto are leading the Nifty gainers. Tata Motors, on the other hand, has advanced nearly 3.5% after seeing weakness through all of last week and also after a block deal in the stock today. Small cap index is also outperforming, up about 0.6% right now. Some of the individual stocks that are doing well: Genesis International, that's trading with gains of 17% on the back of heavy volumes. Jindal Polyfilms is another one, up 15% right now. Adani Group stocks, let's pull them up. Also, all of them are doing well. Adani Power, Adani Enterprises, Adani Ports, you're seeing gains of about 5 to 6% on those names. And on the other hand, you have all your cable TV players like Hathway Cable, Den Networks, which are seeing further corrections, so they're extending their losses from yesterday down about 8 to 13% for Hathway Cable. Overall, the market breadth has turned in favor of gainers. The advance decline ratio stands at 5:3 today, a trend that I'm seeing after a couple of days. Alex.
All right. We've got our experts in the studio today, Aditya Agarwala of Yes Securities and Sharmila Joshi, who is an independent investment advisor. They're here to answer all of your questions today. Welcome to the show, guys. I'm going to jump straight into the live queries that we have. I was just looking up one of the stocks that Rahul Nayak has picked. Rahul Nayak is saying, "Hi guys, happy Friday. Wish you the same as well, Rahul, and to all of the viewers who have already joined us." He would like to know the long-term prospects of First Source, which I know that you'll have a view on, Sharmila. The second one I'm not so sure about. Setco Auto is the one that he's talking about. Both? All right, so let's pull up. First Source is currently trading about 1.7% higher. Setco at 0.5% higher at 41 levels.
So I would have to say that I'm more positive on Setco, though I'm sure First Source may actually go up faster in the near term. The reason why I don't like First Source so much is that, I feel that if you're looking at an IT business at these valuations, then you must look at a more differentiated sort of a play, where you're really into some kind of a niche sector, or where there is a good chance that your earnings could improve in a sort of a non-linear manner, because I think they're all trading at fairly high valuations. So I think First Source has sort of done its run, but I think there are many people who still like it out there. So maybe you could see a further upside from these levels. Setco, I think auto ancillaries is a preferred play at this point in time, given the fact that a lot of autos are still reporting very good numbers, and I don't see that trend changing in a hurry. So I think stocks like Setco could continue to have like a good.
And for the long term, it seems the manufacturers pull and push type clutches for commercial vehicles.
Yes.
So for commercial vehicles, we're still to see that big boom,
yes,
which a lot of people have been predicting for some time now.
Yes, and also I tell you, we are beginning to see good numbers for commercial vehicles, and what you see in the cycle typically is that once the cycle begins to turn good, then it stays good for a while. It's not like you get very bad numbers next month, so you get a sort of an even trend. So I think given the fact that we have so many new roads coming up, so many regulations about overloading, etc., I think Setco Clutch, I think it used to be known only as Setco Clutch Auto earlier, is a good bet.
All right, you have Nikhil Gandhi, who's asking for technical views on Tech Mahindra and Voltas. So a short-term view for both of them. Aditya, Tech Mahindra, how's that looking on the charts? And again, Voltas, does it look like weakness will continue there?
So first I'll come to Tech Mahindra. Stock has weakened in the last few trading sessions. It's broken down from its moving averages, some critical moving averages. So it's trading below its 50 DMA, it's trading below its 89 DMA. And there is weakness today. Also the stock is down about 1.5% in trade. I see further weakness in the stock. I was looking at the IT index. That too is looking like some weakness can be seen in most of the IT stocks. So I'm looking at a downside of 600 in Voltas. Would not recommend buying at current levels. Probably on correction to close to about 600, he can look to buy the stock. Alternatively, if he's holding the stock, I would recommend him to keep a stop at 625. Currently it's trading at 635, so 10 rupees lower from current levels. Keep a stop at 625. If it breaks, exit from the stock.
Okay, I'm going to go back to the Tech Mahindra query. What looks like in good entry level, because that's a question that Krish is also asking.
For Tech Mahindra?
Yes.
I just answered that 600 is a good entry level for Tech Mahindra. Yeah.
All right.
Coming back to Voltas, I think that's left unanswered. So it's a good level to enter into Voltas. Stock has corrected and taken support at good moving averages plus Fibonacci retracement levels. So I would recommend him to go long in Voltas at current levels. Good support close to about 500 odd levels, currently trading at 520. I'm looking at an upside of 600 to about 650.
All right, we've got a couple more questions for you, Aditya. This one from Rangarajan Balakrishnan. I'm going to take 2 of your 3 questions, Ranga. First, on Kajaria Ceramics at current levels, I believe that you were talking about this very thing, but then the view is only for 3 months. So I'm going to go to Aditya on this. Is this a good level to buy Kajaria Ceramics with a 3-month view? And the second one is on Tata Global Beverages, which is a slightly longer time horizon. I understand from a Bloomberg report recently that there is a talk of some consolidation of the food businesses of Tata, and I don't know how that's going to affect Tata Global Beverages if that actually does come to pass. But we're just looking for a technical view as of now. So those 2 stocks.
So first, come to Kajaria Ceramics. Stock has corrected significantly. So it made a high of 750. From there, it's down to about 470 odd levels. I'm looking at good entry levels at current levels. Definitely you can go ahead and look to buy the stock. Good supports at 530 to about 420 to about 430 zone. Almost there, 470. So we can look at a staggered buying in Kajaria Ceramics from current levels. On the downside, I don't see stock breaking 400 so easily. So good support levels at 400. He can look to start accumulating Kajaria Ceramics from current levels. Upside in Kajaria, I'm looking at 600 to about 700 zone. So if he has a time horizon of 1 year, probably he can look to accumulate at current levels. And the second stock, Tata Global.
Tata Global Beverages. Let's pull up the chart and see what it's currently trading. Tata Global Beverages, guys. It's currently trading about 2% lower at 266.
So post the sharp up move that we had seen last week, probably on Monday, I guess stock was up significantly, about 8%. It has given up most of its gain. I see weakness in the stock. Stock has turned lower from 61% retracement level. I'm looking at a downside of 240 to about 245 in Tata Global. So not too keen in buying Tata Global at current levels. I would prefer Kajaria as compared to Tata Global.
Okay, you have Anjanay Pachori, who has bought shares of Fortis Healthcare at the cost of 144. So it's currently trading at about 139, 140, so closer to his buying price. Of course, you've had the reports which suggest that 2 out of 4 bidders for Fortis Healthcare have actually stepped back. So for Aditya, what should his strategy be? Should he hold or sell if he has a short-term view?
So honestly, stock just moves based on news. So if there's a news, stock just goes up or down. Nothing much is happening. If I take a look at the technicals, stock continues to remain sideways. On the downside, 130 is a support. On the upside, 150 to about 155 is the resistance. So if he already taken a long, I would recommend him to hold on to the long with a stop at 130 and hope that there's a good news so that the stock bounces back to levels of 155 to 160. There I would recommend him to exit, because honestly, stock hasn't done much in last 6-7 months. It's just been oscillating between 160 to 130, and right now it is in the middle of that zone. Right now close to about 140. So I would recommend him hold with a stop at 130 for probably target of 160.
All right, we've got an interesting question coming in from Ira Singh on YouTube. She's asking which will be a better bet for the next 2 to 5 years, a Reliance ETF on consumption or consumption-specific stocks in terms of... Okay, that's a fair question. She wants to know whether she needs to do the hard work herself or she gets somebody else to do it for. But anyway, you know...
So she wants me to do the hard work.
Yeah. So what would you pick? I'm assuming that you'd be able to tell her about consumption. A lot of people have said that they are a little highly valued at this point.
Yes. As you said, I think the safer thing to do is to put it in an ETF, because obviously that would be like a pre-decided basket, and you get the advantage of that. Plus, it'll be sort of an SIP, hopefully. So you'll get that benefit of that. So why not do both? Okay. I think, definitely put some amount of money in a Reliance ETF, Reliance Consumption ETF, I believe it's called. So do an SIP in that, and I think that every now and then you will sort of market will suggest it's the stories that it likes in consumption for whatever reasons. I, for instance, like a whole host of stories in consumption. So I mean, it's such a broad basket. So if you can like something in auto, you can like something in like a Whirlpool or a Blue Star or a Voltas. And you could like something in the tile business that we were talking of. So you could like a Kajaria, or you could like a Century Ply, something in the home improvement business, or you could like a Bajaj Electricals, you could like a TTK Prestige, you could like Page Industries. So the list is endless, So that is also the risk.
Okay, let's make it a little easier for Ira. What are the 3 picks that you have in the consumption space?
So from a purely FMCG point of view, I like Dabur at this price. So I think that's at a good valuation. That is something that you can look at. I think from the recent correction that we've seen, I think you can definitely pick something from the like that Blue Star, Voltas, that kind of space, because they didn't have a great summer, so you've seen a lot of the stock prices correct, and again I think we've seen a correction in mid caps. So I think that's an area that you can look at, and then I think the third can really be on any theme that you personally like, sort of. So I leave that open. I like Tata Global Beverages. We spoke of it a while before because I'm a great coffee drinker. So this whole Starbucks rollout, it makes me feel happy.
Okay.
All right, we have a live caller from Hyderabad. Harish Bele dials in. Very good afternoon, Harish. What is your query?
Yeah, a very good afternoon, Alex and Shraddha. Actually, I have a series of questions. I have entered the stock market last year, exactly this time, maybe July, August time, when the markets were at their best, actually. So right now, many of my stocks are in negative, and the next year being the election year, what exactly be the impact of election on the markets, whether Modi wins or gets lost the election? And regarding the stocks, I have a query regarding 2 stocks, Meghmani Organics and Jamna Auto. Okay. What is the right time to enter into those stocks? Okay,
I'm going to split your question into 2 parts, Harish. First, let's talk about the impact of elections on the stock markets in general, for which I will go over to Shamila. But can you tell us what your time frame is?
I can stay for a long term. I just
You're a long-term investor.
Yeah, just 1 year old in stock market.
So if he's a long-term investor, there is no reason to worry, honestly, because any impact that the election will have will be short-term. After that, things will fall back to fundamentals, what kind of a growth we have, what kind of a GDP are doing, etc., etc. The one big tax reform, everyone was talking of GST, that's sort of done with. So whichever government comes into power, you won't have anything immediately on the plate that looks very challenging, or you'll just have to really keep things going. So I think from that perspective, from a longer term viewpoint, it really doesn't matter. And it's too premature because we don't even know when elections will be. You just say 2019. If it's December, then it has a completely different meaning, and if it is like February, March, then it has a completely different connotation. So I think if you're a long-term investor, you should not worry too much about these things.
All right, great. And for the short-term queries, Aditya, Meghmani Organics and Jamna Auto, he wants to know what the good entry points could be.
I would prefer buying Meghmani Organics close to about 72. That is the support zone for the stock. Stock again has corrected significantly from 126 odd levels into a continuous correction mode. 72 seems to be a good support level for the stock. So gentlemen can look 72 levels to average his because he's already bought Meghmani. So if wants to average Meghmani, probably 72 is a good zone to go ahead and average Meghmani. As far as Jamna Auto is concerned, he can continue to hold the stock. Stock is going through a consolidation phase sideways. Stock has been an outperformer. It continues to make higher highs, higher lows, strong up move. So I would recommend him continue to hold with the stock. Probably if he wants to keep a stop, 76 is a good stop loss to keep on Jamna Auto, and hold on for a target of 120 to about 130.
All right, so Sharmila, you said that you like Tata Global Beverages because you're a coffee drinker. I think a lot of people out there like United Spirits for very different reasons. But we have a question.
Same reasons.
So we've got a question, Shrikar is asking about a long-term view on United Spirits. Do you like that stock? Or if not, would you suggest something else in this?
Possibly United Breweries, because I think United Spirits, yes, I mean, there is that little bit overhang concern about how, because now it's really changed hands, the management. And, when sometimes like a global management comes in, on paper it looks really great and the stock rallies, etc. But there has been a little bit of a niggling overhang, first of all, in whether they'll be sort of further dragged into any sort of issue going ahead with the old management, and I think, in terms of growing the business. So between the two, I mean, for United Breweries also, obviously those concerns stay, but I think United Breweries, because still there is a possibility that they could find a seller or whatever going ahead, you could look to an upside because of that. But yes, it's a business I like, definitely both the businesses I like, and I think overall stocks in that space, as I said, different beverage, but consumptions will stay strong.
All right, you have Aditya Batankar. He wants a view, short-term view on Lupin. He has 100 shares at about 885. That's his average price. So he is making some notional profit at this point in time. Aditya, Lupin on the charts, how is it?
So finally the pharma pack is back and it's moving, and Lupin is actually one of them which is actually also moving along with the other rest of the pharma pack. So I would recommend him hold on to the stock. His buying price is close to about
885.
885. So I would recommend him to hold with the stop close to about 850 or 860 is that support zone. I'm looking at a target of 1050 to about 1060 on Lupin, and probably if things go good for the pharma pack, then it can head higher, close to about 1100 as well.
Let's see how the numbers are.
Numbers, exactly. So from what I see on the charts right now, I would recommend him hold on to the stock, keep a stop at 850 to about 860. 1100 is very much possible on the cards.
Right.
All right, Rangarajan Balakrishnan on Facebook is saying, and fairly so, experts are not fortune tellers on elections. I don't think anybody is. We all wish that we were. But having said that, let's take another query on Facebook. Ashwini Rawat is asking, can you tell me the story behind the fall of quality? Would you want to, maybe explain just a little bit about that? Speculation?
Yes, I think there have been a whole host of reasons really. So it's very difficult to pinpoint what went exactly wrong in quality per se, because we've had that whole ASM, first whole mid-cap correction, then we've had ASM, then we've had this auditor issue, then plus we've had little sort of negative news flow for some companies. So I think it's I think it's more really to do with all of the above sort of than any one particular reason.
Aditya says thank you, by the way.
My pleasure. So actually, coming to that point, it's very important to keep analyzing your stocks on a regular interval, because these issues, so name like Avanti Feed, that was I guess the top gainer last year. Look at it, what has happened this year. So if it's very important to keep reviewing your portfolio.
While you're on that point, Avanti Feeds, we've got a question on. Somebody's bought at 534 levels average. 1 year view, what would you recommend?
Well, again, the stock is weak right now at current levels. I expect the stock to test levels of 400 again. So there is weakness in these stocks. That's what I was just saying. Just keep reviewing your portfolio, reviewing your stocks, so that you don't get stuck with them. And suddenly you wake up one morning after a year and you see the stock which was up about 100% is down actually 50%. So it happens. So that is very important.
At this point for him?
Yes.
Okay.
All right. Shamila, the next question is coming to you. Arpit Maheshwari has bought shares of HSIL at 278 again. So he's sitting on a decent profit, but he wants a long-term view. So overall, all these ceramic
so we were just discussing that in about half an hour back on Hot Money. So the reason why I like ceramics as a play is that this whole you're generally expecting a little bit of a improvement in real estate sales, and more than real estate sales, I think these stocks are also home improvement, within that home improvement space, and within that I think we have a big story still remaining to play out, given the fact that we all like consumption as a play and we are an aspirational society, and especially in tier 2 and tier 3 you're going to see people increasingly spend more money on home improvement, which is where all these Kajaria ceramics, Somani, HSIL, Johnson, Prism Johnson, all these stocks, Asian Granito. So all of these sort of come in and they've all corrected. And the reason I think they've corrected is one is this overall mid-cap correction that we've seen. And secondly, GST was always considered to be a big positive for the organized sector. But that has not really still played out in their numbers. So you really had not great numbers from a lot of these companies. So there was a dual reason for their correction. But yes, I think GST will be a positive. Now things are falling into place. So GST will be a positive for organized players. So you will see an improvement from that aspect as well as you'll see a demand pick up slowly. So from both these aspects, I'm positive on HSI.
All right, we've got a live caller from Chennai. Leafin is calling us. Leafin, thanks so much for calling us. What would you like to know about?
Yeah, good afternoon, sir. I would like to know about that status of ICICI Securities because I bought it in the IPO stage. Till yesterday, it was like 44% it gone negative. So what will be the future output of that, or else is there any positivity coming around for the shares?
Okay,
I would like to know about that.
Leafin, can you confirm once again which stock are you talking about?
ICICI Securities.
ICICI Securities. Let's pull up the chart and see what it's trading right now. It's currently trading at 303 or thereabouts. Sharmila, you want to weigh in because obviously we don't have enough data on technical.
Yeah. So I think it was a decent IPO. I think it is suffering more because of the recent issue that it's had with that ICICI Pru AMC and SEBI pulling it up, etc. And because it's part of the ICICI group, and we've seen ICICI Bank go through its own share of troubles. But as a broking play and the fact that the kind of deals that it has done in investment banking over these last couple of years, I think it's a decent story. So if the investor has the patience to stay invested, I think he should stay invested.
Because I believe last quarter's numbers were pretty
absolutely. So
good.
From that aspect, in terms of the kind of business that it has, and the fact the numbers, on that picture has been good. It's been these other news stories that have actually pulled the stock down.
All right, you have Sanu Paji who wants to know about Lotus Eye Care. Is it a good stock to hold on for 2 to 3 years is what he's asking. I don't know if you track that, Sharmila. All right, let's also check with Aditya.
It's an extremely volatile stock. I would not recommend to get into this stock.
All right, there you go.
Ujjwal Kumar on Facebook is asking about Karnataka Bank. He's asking for a fundamental view. He's bought 90 shares at 152. Let's see, it's 109 or thereabouts. He's asking whether he should average at these levels. What would you recommend, Sharma? Karnataka Bank?
Yes, I think he can average because that way it's a decent bank. I mean, very honestly, I have not been in favor of buying too many banking stocks, but if he already has Karnataka Bank and he wants to average, possibly he can. But only thing he must remember is that his holding period could be slightly long, because I think it will be a while before you really see any meaningful sort of an uptrend in banks. I think we are still some time away from that.
Yeah, we're still trying to work out how this NPA mess is getting cleaned up.
Absolutely.
So.
All right, Saran Gupta is asking if it's riskier to buy Graphite India or HEG at this point in time. He's looking for a 1 or 2 month time frame. So Aditya, if he has to pick one, which looks better right now, HEG or Graphite?
So both are risky, to be honest, because
they move in tandem.
Yes, they move in tandem, and recently because of that ASM list, probably they both witnessed some bit of correction. But to me, Graphite looks a better play on charts. I would prefer sticking on to Graphite as compared to HEG. That has clear trend and clear momentum as compared to HEG. So I would recommend buy Graphite, not HEG.
All right. See, okay, this is where this show gets interesting, because off and on you get these queries from new investors, somebody who's just started investing in the market. Perhaps you can help him out, Sharmila, on this. See, so Rakesh Ranjan is saying that he's new to the stock market and he just started reading some books as to how he should look at perhaps valuing a company. Can you give him an idea as to how he should approach looking at a stock? What are the various levels perhaps that he should look at, the numbers that he should look at?
Oh, this is a very tough question.
However you can, I mean, I'm sure.
So I think, first of all, you must remember one very basic ground rule is that you should start sooner and not overthink this thing, because everybody makes mistakes, and unless you make a couple of really bad mistakes, I don't think you really understand where you went wrong. So keep an open analytical mind and sort of try and start investing almost immediately, so that you sort of figure out through your mistakes where you've gone wrong. And I think secondly, once you've decided whether you're a trader trader or an investor, or if you can ideally be both, then structure your portfolio according to that. And then I think, try and find a sector or a group of stocks that you can find a comfort level in terms of understanding their business, seeing where they fit in the larger picture, because you may like a certain business, but it may not have a very conducive environment either in the nation or globally, and that could always affect its price. And my last advice would be to try and look at investing as a long-term game rather than looking at it as trying to make a small percentage of gain and exiting. So, but I think start investing at the earliest. That would be the basic
advice.
Yeah.
All right. Now we have Piyush Sarode, who's writing to us on Facebook. He asks if it's the right time to enter Indraprastha Gas. Again, this question will go to Aditya then, and and also, how does Gujarat Gas look on the back of the recent developments between the two?
So IGL definitely looks good to me from an investment horizon. If somebody is looking to buy the stock post the correction, these are definitely good levels, attractive levels. Stock has taken support at 89 period weekly moving average and Fibonacci retracement level. So I would definitely look to buy this IGL. Gujarat Gas, I would not recommend him to buy. I would prefer an IGL rather than a Gujarat Gas.
Okay, very quickly, KNR Construction, would you advocate a buy? It's seen significant correction over the last month or so.
No, I would wait for some more correction. Close to about 200 is a good entry point.
All right.
All right, guys, those are all the queries that we could take on today's show. And on that note, we will also thank our guests. Thank you very much, Sharmila and Aditya, for helping all our viewers with their queries. That's all that we have on this edition of Ask PQ.
It was a fun one. Thanks so much for joining us. Remember, we're just a tweet, post or call away, so do keep your queries coming, and we promise to address as many of them as possible on our show. You can log on to the website bloombergquint.com and search for #AskBQ and get all the answers to the queries that were discussed today. Up next is Power Lunch. I'll see you soon.